What's up, warriors? Welcome back to the battlefield of the mind. Today I'm here with Marcin, and we're gonna get into some guy stuff, dude. Some manly man stuff. Now we're actually live in the studio. He's gotten to come and hang out with me for the first time because everybody's just Zoom calling me, man. So it's kind of nice to have you hanging out.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. I really do appreciate it for having me on and be your guest, especially be the first one to actually record in your studio.
Kind of fun. We're gonna help out some brothers though. Like Marcin and I, when we talk, we get in and talk about there's a lot of guys struggling today, man. They're struggling out there, but they don't know what they don't know for a place to go. And as poetic as that may have sound, like, what are we going to be doing? Like when you're working with guys, what's your main expertise? What's the hardest part that guys are going through stuff that you're there for?
Yeah, you bring up a really good point, and especially for us men out there. I'm a certified divorce coach, transition and recovery coach, and a motivational speaker. And what I see but before I go there, Rick, I'd like to start, what I went through my journey with the journey of divorce. 4 years ago, I went through a divorce. My first girlfriend became my first wife, and we have been together for 15 years, married for 12 years, two beautiful children, my son Aiden, my daughter Victoria. And you know what? We had it all, beautiful home, amazing lifestyle where we traveled, we did things, kids were involved in after school activities, different sports. So we were a good, happy, successful family, with good careers where we can do things, go out, have fun, and things like that. But you know what? Life just happens to us when kids do come. You have to do things around the house, cooking, cleaning when you come after work. Then you have to take care of the children, you have to do homework with them, you got to do things outside the house, take care of the house. So there's just so much that we're getting involved too, and we fall into this trap, this daily routine where we do the same thing over and over, and we as husband, as wives, we grow apart because we spend so much time and we give so much attention to our children, to school activities, to the household activities and all those other things, where we forget to, hey, go out for dinner, go out for a movie night, go out for a date night, go do things that what we have done when we were dating. And now all those things are just not there anymore. They're fading away, and we are growing apart. We don't sit down, we don't have any intimate conversation no more. We don't ask, hey, how are you feeling, what are you going through, what can I help you with, right? Because for us, for men, I'm going to speak from my own experience. No one really taught me, about marriage, about life, right? It just what I have learned, how I was brought up from my family. I was born and raised in Poland, came to United States when I was 12. And what I brought from my home, that's what I applied at our home, in my family. And what happened too is they don't teach us a lot of things in school, right? Especially for us men. Is for me is I am a person where I don't like conflicts, right? I don't like to fight, I don't like to argue or anything. And there were some things that would bother me, right? But I did not want to talked about to my wife because I didn't want to just start an argument, start a fight. So I was holding it all within me, and it was boiling it out, and it would not make me so happy, just angry and upset, and I would not be myself. And as the time progressed, months, years, and so on, then you know what? One day, we just grew apart. Where we started doing things all on our own. She started hanging out with her friends. I started hanging out with my friends, and it came to the point where you have two strangers, living under one roof. That love, that intimacy has faded out. Where hey, we're not sleeping together anymore, or nothing. And then it comes to the point where hey, you know what? Why don't we take time apart and see if we can rekindle that love, that intimacy, that spark that we have within us. But when I moved out for 3 weeks to my parents' house, then after 3 weeks, it was already I had my children during Christmas, and it was New Year's, and it was in January 4th, it was time for me to go back home. and the kids were going back to school. I was going back to work, and when I came home, she wasn't home. She went for grocery shopping, and then after half an hour, where I came back with the children, is I missed my home. I missed my bed. I missed my wife. I missed that person. That I love so much, spending time with her and so on. Kids missed their beds. They missed the home. They missed everything as well, because it was a huge difference for them. Not being home for 3 weeks. And then, after she got home, unpacked their grocery bags, we were standing in a kitchen by the countertop. I was helping her unload the grocery bags. And I started talking to her. And right away, I knew that something is wrong. I knew that the energy, she did not look at me, eye to eye. She looked downward when I was asking, hey, how are you doing? How you been? And so on. I started to have a conversation with her, and I'm like, what is going on? And then, I said that, hey, you know what? It's been already 3 weeks, like we talked about, and I'm moving back in. I brought my suitcase that I haven't, unpacked it or anything. And she's like, no, you cannot move back in. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm paying mortgage. I'm paying all the bills. This is our home. No, you cannot move back in. So there were no fights. There were no arguments or anything, but it was pretty intense, right? It was just this bad energy in the air. And then what happened is there were no fights, there were no arguments or anything. But you know what? She called the cops. Sheriff came over, and then sheriff heard her story. They heard my story, and sheriff said that, you know what, one of you have to leave the home. And at that moment, Rick, when it just, I was in such a shock, such a disbelief what was happening. Physically I was there, but mentally, like my soul, my spirit just left the body. My body was like so tense, I could not even catch a breath of air. My back, my muscles just tensed up. Chest pains. It felt like, you know what, your best friend stabbed you in the back with a kitchen knife, and you're like paralyzed. You don't know what to do. You're in shock. You're in disbelief. It just, the feelings, the emotions that you're going through, you don't know what the heck is just happening. The police is in your house, kids are crying, and police officer says, hey, you gotta go. You gotta go, right? Because she said that, hey, I don't feel safe around you. So I had to leave. But before I left, I have this vivid image in my mind till this day. I kneeled down in the kitchen on my knee, and my 3-year-old daughter, came over to me, you know, gave me a big hug, strong hug, and she was crying, Daddy, Daddy, don't leave. Daddy, Daddy, don't leave. I don't want you to go. Then my 7-year-old son came over as well from the other side, gave me another big hug, and said, Daddy, Daddy, don't leave. I don't want you to go. And they were crying. Both of them were crying so bad. And to me, I was falling, my heart, just me as a person, I was falling into pieces. I was just in shock. I was in disbelief. And then my wife's just pulling them off, yanking them off, that Dad's got to leave. He's got to go. And then when I stood up, picked up my luggage, and when I was walking out, Rick, I felt like a stranger. You know what? I felt like I don't know who I was. Like, what is happening? The home, the family that we have built, I have been betrayed by the person that I have loved for so many years, by the person I have shared my secrets with. And you know what? If I did not have my parents, where would I have gone? Where would I live? I was 35 years old, that had it all, and in one day, in a blink of an eye, I lost it all. I lost my family, I lost my children, I lost my home, I lost my self-identity. I didn't know who this person is. And now, you know what? Thank God, that I had my parents. So it, I cried myself all the way home, and I didn't know what was happening. I was I was numb. I was in disbelief. So when I got to my parents' house, I knocked on the doors. My mom opened up the doors, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, she won't let me back in. She doesn't want me anymore. So that was a final straw. That was a final step in the back when I said, you know what? I'm done. I cannot live like this anymore. So the whole journey, before we go there, that's how it started, where I started searching because I got divorced. I was the first one to go through a divorce. And I was too afraid, I was too ashamed to even ask anyone for help. Only thing I knew was to go and find a divorce attorney, because that's what I heard, that's what I knew from other people, that's what I did in the Warner going through divorces. So I was getting into something that I didn't even know what I'm getting myself into. And now, 4 years after, with the things that I know now, if I knew back then, it would be a totally different story. But that's where I'm going to stop for now.
Man, I think it's great. There's so much to unpack there, man. And I try to hold back on like the injustice of the way the situation even played out, because like the numbers and stuff are staggering on the lady side. And I talk to a lot of the women's like coaches. I talk to women who work with women, and this type of like victimized attack where like she's the one who's creating conflict and destruction by, and this is where I've noticed like the most divorces are from women today. A vast majority is women blindsiding guys. And like I know women because I've worked with them, they're setting up for a long time before you ever knew. And how is it that you're the one who pays for things? You're the one that's everything's in your setup. You did all the things for it to be there, and you have to leave everything. This doesn't even make sense in anything. And yet somehow in America, this is totally justified. Makes perfect sense that you pay for the house and you pay for all the stuff and you pay for everything and you have to go. Yeah. Nope. And nothing should it be the person who pays for it has to leave their things to someone who doesn't. Where does that make sense?
Yeah, it doesn't at all. And 80% of divorces are initiated by women.
Yeah. It's a huge majority. And we talk to the guys, and when it gets into like the part where the men are like, I didn't even see this coming, she seems highly prepared. A lot of them have a dude already ready. Like for that conversation, for no argument, and just going like, hey, I missed you, I want to come back. And to be like, yeah, no, I'm calling the cops. And you're like, wait, what I just said I was good and I missed you. And you're like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. And there's no truth being told. This is also a very interesting thing about how like my middle daughter called this out. We were watching stuff about how women handling the truth and how they do. Is it a conversation or condemnation? She said women can handle everyone else's truth, but they can't handle their own. And so I want you to tell me everything so I can condemn you, so I can ridicule you, so I can control you. But I will not be telling you the truth because I do not want the consequences of my reality to become my reality. So I don't want that. So I'm going to be secretive and setting things up for you. I want you to leave for 3 weeks so I can get you gone. And then I'm going to prep for being able to destroy you. No empathy, no consideration, no kindness, no conversation. This was a planned attack.
Absolutely. It was. It's funny that we talk about that because on, when was it? On Saturday, 2 weeks ago, I met a woman on a networking event, business owner, very successful business owner. And I shared with her with the work that I do, as a divorce coach, how I help men and women pre, during, and after divorce with their mindset and so on. And naturally, she loves helping other people as well. So we connected. I sent her the program that I went through, got my license certification through. And then she scheduled her orientation. She did all those different things. And then she wanted to find out, from me, hey, how is business right now? How are you getting clients? And all those different things, So we spoke probably about an hour. And what I got from the conversation, she opened up slowly. So basically, I'm like, her marriage, right? That's what she's telling me. It's they have a daughter that is 15 or 16 right now, and their marriage is leading to a divorce right now. So I'm like, have you sat down with your husband, right? Have you talked to him? Because why is it leading to their divorce? Because she's like, I am overwhelmed, I have too much on my plate, I am carrying everything on my back. I'm not getting any help from him.
It's wrong. I work with the ladies. They're creating their own misery and blaming others for it. Because listen, let's just go with a societal route, especially like Western culture. Women now within this generation, second generation ever, since the 70s to now, it's the second generation of women who are born where it's like, you now have burden of beauty and burden of performance. Go. You have to do the work, you have to do all the stuff, but you also have to do it in heels and wearing makeup. Like you got to do all of it. And women aren't built for doing everything, nor are guys. We don't have burden of beauty. It's not the same. Like we don't have to go through the same ordeals they do. We can wear no makeup and we can wear no socks and everything is totally fine. Everyone's like, we still respect you. You're solid. But a woman has a very different level of measurement. And so she's got to do it now everything. Now when women are trying to take on everything, they're creating their own self-fulfilling prophecy because they think they're supposed to do it all and then can't. They're not supposed to. And so they go, well, he's not helping me enough. No, you're just trying to do the jobs you won't let people do that aren't yours. Like there's no delegation, there's no teamwork, there's no agreements. It's just assumptions, accusations, and nagging. And yet somehow that's supposed to be the same as an agreement or a team.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that because you know what, this is what I have learned through my journey, being into other relationships. With two different women, and like my mind, my experience, the lessons, that everything from failures that I have learned is. I totally agree with you right now because when you're getting into that new relationship, right? But before we even go there, I would like to go back on that journey, take you back what I went through, to speak to men that maybe actually right now are going through a divorce, contemplating divorce, or are post divorce, where they're broken emotionally, financially, spiritually broken, where they're stuck and they do not know how to pick up their pieces, how to rebuild themselves, and what's next for them. So when I was searching for the divorce attorney, because I went to three of them, and the third one that I met with, she asked me, "Hey, did your wife filed?" I'm like, "I do not know." So she went to the computer, she checked. She's like, "You know what? She did not file, but I have some bad news for you." I'm like, "What is it?" "Well, she put an order of protection against you."
For what?
And I didn't even know. I didn't know what order of protection was.
This is a big abuse of the system, man, in multiple ways. I'm going to call the police to create a problem when there isn't one. And then I'm going to create a restriction on you without cause. Like there are some bad dudes out there. I'm not saying there aren't, but I've also seen women drop this order of protection on guys who like didn't even know what was going on, and you still have to go through the order to be able to deal with what's going on here. But it's like a month to 2 months, like you can't see your kids because I just put in a thing, and like until they can get to that point, it's like, well, what the heck?
Yeah, so for 21 days,
Yeah.
I couldn't see my kids. I couldn't call them. I couldn't text them, email them, see them in school, come close by the house or anything. So I was just cut out. But I didn't have all my clothes, with me. So I had to call police escort to come in, and actually that I can go in my own house with a police escort to get my clothes out.
Yeah, listen, I think this abuse of power, women need to start getting on women for this. Because when you play with this way and you're using the system so Machiavellian, you're so evil, so twisted, so self-serving. Like there's bad guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm not speaking in absolutes. Are there all bad guys? No. Most of these guys are not bad guys, but they're being treated like villains. And for those of you women out there who think because you can call this card, if you're using this, do you know who really gets blown out of the water on this and gets screwed up the most? It's your kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's the kid. Yeah, the dudes get wrecked. Don't get me wrong. A good dad not seeing his kid is monstrous, but a kid not knowing why dad's gone and mom feeling like I can just play this order of protection card with no cause. Like they make up wild things too, things you can't untake back. I've seen guys have false accusations that aren't even close. That like now I have this huge trial of stuff that I wasn't even a part of.
Absolutely. And you know what? it costs thousands and thousands of dollars for attorneys, to spend on those fees. So, in my case, it was really good that, what, we went to court, and I was able to we agreed to remove it, because that can even go against you as a felony if you got
Mhm.
a ticket or something like that, and you're just screwed for the rest of your life. For
It's messed up, man. I got a thing for you too. Here's one thing. Women, I had a challenge for my guys, and I'm calling you ladies. I'm calling you out right. If you're listening to this right now, I'm calling you out directly to see if you really do this. When it comes down to the word empathy, women think that they fucking have this thing cornered. I think the guys have argued we have more empathy than women. Men have more empathy than women. Do you know why I say that?
why?
We don't completely omit one entire group of humanity. Women can have empathy for babies. Women can have empathy for women. Women can have empathy for TV show characters. They do not have empathy for their men. Empathy and well-being is different. Making a sandwich or doing a laundry or cleaning something or fixing something, like, hey, I got that, sorted out for you. I filled out the paperwork. That's all well-being. No, do you care about that man's feelings at all? The answer is across the board. I did a 200-man survey to see, like, how far is this? I wanted some variable. Every single guy in there says, my feelings are important to me. My feelings are not important to her, and I wish that they were.
Yeah, absolutely, I
Across the
agree.
board.
Yeah, I agree. If that actually did happen, because what I have learned too right now is, when I get into my relationship, I express, how I feel, right? What am I going through? Because back then I did not, right? And obviously she cannot read my mind. I cannot read her mind. And communication is the key as well. And that does not make me weak, right? Because I'm telling her, hey, how vulnerable I feel, right? I want to let her know, hey, what am I going through, right? Not only to get the empathy from her, but you know what, hey, where am I standing, right? So at least she knows, because how many times we're going through something in our lives, right? Maybe we had a bad day at work, we're coming home, we're not even talking or anything. Don't talk to me, I want some time away, this and that. And then, what, your energy, right, that you're bringing, this is what she's feeding off with, and that's how it starts, those little nuggets, right? And it's building over time, and people just explode.
Man, it's so much going on with that. And like it's tough. Listen, I like the empathy thing, but let's get into that a little bit. We're talking about communication. This is important, and this is where I think we're going to jump to the answer, and then we'll reverse engineer this a little bit. Where can guys go that people care about them?
That's a good question. That's a good question. And for me, as a divorce coach, when I got into coaching, is my ideal client is man, right? Because when I was going through my divorce, through my journey, who did I have to help me? Yeah, I did have the divorce attorney, but divorce attorney just helped me with the legal stuff, right? Who helped me with my feelings? Who helped me with my emotions? Who was there for me when, what, I cried myself to sleep, when I had suicidal thoughts? Who was there for me, right? Where were there any groups, right? But you know what? That's on me too, because you know what? I didn't look, because
Mhm.
but why I didn't look? Because I was so in so much distress. I was so emotionally overwhelmed. I was so stressed out. I was going through fear. I was going through anxiety. I was going through depression. I was going through every single feeling, emotion that you can have in your life, right? For 2 3 months, Rick, I would go to work. I would be there physically, but emotionally, I would be checked out, right? I
Mhm.
would be walk around like a zombie, like numb, just basically numb, stuck in my story over and over every single day. And I just did not know how to get out of that loop, right? I was like this hamster in this wheel every single day, in this negativity, in this vicious self negative talk. Because what happens to us men, right? That if we do not ask for help, because I'm speaking from my experience, I was emotionally self-destructing.
Mhm.
I was I was living in an emotional prison, penitentiary prison. That's what was happening to me. But So how I started my journey is because I was angry at God, at the whole world, at myself. Like, why did this happen to me? Right? I did not understand back then why me, God, or whatever you believe in out there. And I'm like, I had so much anger, I had so much hatred, right? I had so much frustration and resentment toward my ex because first several months it's such a huge transition period. Your whole world, your whole life, everything has been turned upside down, right? You had hit the rock bottom, you have lost everything. Now you got to start rebuilding, but you got to start rebuilding you, right? Because how can you move on, how can you function in this society if you're not 100%, your well-being? If
Like, who was your trainer to be able to deal with divorce?
Right, that's the thing, there was really no one there for me. So this is why I got into coaching, because I look back and I'm like, wow, you know what, our society, divorce, especially men and women that are going through divorces, they need so much help, they need so much guidance, they need a thinking partner, a sounding board, someone to help them make the best decisions for themselves, because the decision that you make today will impact you for the rest of your lives. And if you're angry, if you're upset, at your ex, right? And when you have to make decision, especially with your parental agreement, all those different decisions, right? Then if you make decisions based on your emotions, it will cost you thousands and thousands of dollars, because that's what happened to me.
Yeah, but you got to throw in the other part. You were doing a self numbing system. You were going into your denial system and suppressing everything down and numbing on your own. Not everybody has that system, and so they usually need help. That doesn't matter if you listen to rap, if you listen to country, if you listen to anything. Almost all music tells you what you do when you go through loss. You know what you do when you go through loss?
Yeah, that
You start
exactly.
drinking.
Yeah,
You start drinking. That's what you do. Guys drink most of the time. Now, there's a lot of other vices for sure, but drinking is the go to. If something is wrong, I need to get fucked up.
yeah.
Time to get drunk.
Drinking, drugs,
I
porn,
need to get numb.
gambling, yeah, addiction. But you know what? You're just escaping for a moment, right?
Correct.
Once the high wears off, you're back to reality.
Oh,
You're back to the
it's
same
three
place.
times as bad. It's
Yeah,
even worse. I've seen guys who I need to numb, and then they're making wild decisions because they're so hurt, and that gets used against them. And then now it's an even longer battle. I have an order of protection that was falsely done against me. Then I got drunk and went off because I was so angry at how wrong this was that now they have even more just cause to keep the order of protection on me. I created a self fulfilling prophecy. Where the hell can guys go where people care about them?
yeah. So what I am creating, safe space, no judgment zone. Is I have built a Facebook group, Life After Divorce, where I have men, women that come into the group. Also, I am a divorce guide. There's this app called Circles. You can get a free version, you can get a paid version. So I am on a paid version, and I have my own room on Sundays, 6 p.m. Central Time, where individuals, men, women, that are going through divorces, that need some kind of support group, right? They can come in and they can listen to other people's stories, where they can express themselves and actually ask questions. Other individuals, have they gone through similar situations that they have, and how they were able to deal and cope with those situations. So those are two for now. And I really admire you, Rick, for what you do, the community that you have created. So I am in the beginning stages, and this is my goal as well, is to create this brotherhood, of not only for men, because what, they both need help, because there are so many men, so many women that are just broken. They are very broken, and they do not have, sometimes the time, they do not have the money, right? Maybe to invest into a coach. But you know what, like I do, the individuals who do not have the finances, I help them, because what, I do this out of my heart, because what, my goal also is to break those generational curses. Because what is happening, from what I see, so many men, so many women that I already have helped, there are patterns that we go through. Every single one are going through the same journey. They're in different situations, they're in different stages. Some of them are, pre, during, and after, and so on. But you know what? with the life after, with this forgiveness, with healing, with rebuilding themselves. Because you know what, Rick, our school system, our education system, they don't teach us none of those things.
No.
None of it.
No emotional intelligence. There's no how to know thyself. There's none of that stuff. Not to mention this through the masses, one of those massive transitions of your life, teenager. How are you supposed to know anything at that point? Everything's just touch the stove, trial and error.
Yeah. So, through my journey, I asked myself in 2021, what do I have to do to get better? Because as a single dad, moved in back to my parents' house, I got to pay child support. I got to pay child care. I got to pay for my needs, my bills, all the food, everything else. I couldn't even afford mortgage or rent back then, right?
Well, it's because you're paying for the other house.
Right, because I'm paying for the other house. Exactly.
The house you can't go to.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, the $500,000 home.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm living at my parents' house.
So beautiful.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
American dream.
Yeah, ladies, that's not going to backfire in the future ever. That play, it's not going to backfire. Even more fun is because this is happening that way, and we're building guys, especially the sons who are coming up. They're growing up with the mentality that women have had that are happened to you, and they're doing it to women now. And you know what? Women don't like when it's the other way around, when they're the provider and they're the one who does the work, and then they get completely annihilated by somebody who does what women are doing. No, they don't like it. Turns out they don't like that at all. Even that happened to my Andrea, where like her ex-husband was cheating on her, and when he left, he didn't have a retirement, but she did. And so he got half of her retirement, and he was the one who was stepping out. It's like, awesome. This is going wonderfully.
Yeah, that's what happened in my case, where I had my 401k. She did not through her employer. So hey,
oh no, man,
here is half of mine just belongs to her.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Now you're starting to see why. I'm not a big proponent of red pill, stuff, but you're starting to see why it's becoming so much more popular. Is because people who abuse the system create a system where the men who are the leaders, providers, protectors, presiders are going, well, we can be fine without you. And you're just using us to make it so you can just have more without us being there. It's going to backfire. It's not a sustainable setup. And you ladies are going to make it so women are like, it's already happening. Women are in their like late 30s to 40s, no children, no husband, no prospects, and only like getting stuck with difficult dating scenarios out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you created it. You made it so the good guys don't want anything to do with you because you've destroyed your own good ones because you had a selfish day, or women who you don't agree with are setting the tone for you. Yikes, ladies, I'm calling it out. Ladies, you got to do something to stop these other ones, because the bad ones are making it like no different than the guys. The guys have been regulating on each other. Listen, let's put some real talk out there. Guys don't care about women. Ladies, I'm just going to stick something like in your face on this one. When guys have made the rule here that like don't hit girls, where do you think that came from? What do you think? Like, don't hit women. Where do you think that came from? Did the ladies rise up and make us stop hitting them? Is that what happened? Was there a protest that came out and the guys were forced to stop hitting women? They were forced to. Is that what happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, there's nothing that says that happened. But I can tell you men regulating men is where it came from. Where the guys go like, Marcin, listen, man, I gave my girl one good solid. The same way I give you one, she's done. Smoked her. I could punch you 10 times and we just keep going. She takes one, she's a wrap, dude. It did not go well. You're like, man, yeah, Cheryl, man, I gave her one good solid. She was smoked, wrecked her, hurt her jaw, she's done. Like, man, this isn't looking good. I don't like it. It doesn't feel right. Let's agree that we just stop hitting our girls like that. You're like, you know what, man? Yeah, let's agree. We're just not going to hit them anymore. That seems really fucked up. It's not cool. I don't like it. I have a protection thing. I want to protect her. Let's stop doing that. Yeah, we agree. And then Frank would be like, hey, man, I just gave fucking Maria a good one. Like, hey, Frank, we're going to stop doing that. Why? Yeah, it's just not right. We're not going to do that anymore. If you do that, then we'll have to stop you. Like, oh, no, that's fucked up. All right, yeah, I'll stop. And then all the guys start stopping. We just decide, don't hit girls. Don't hit girls. We protect girls. We decided that. Guys chose that. Women didn't make men do that. They couldn't if they wanted to. 3 times stronger. We just are. And so they couldn't make us stop. And so guys gave this this amazing shield. And let's look at it. Bill Burr makes jokes about this. Wouldn't it be nice if there was a thing where like you can go like, well, you can't hit me. I can hit you, but you can't hit me. And they can knock your fucking drink out of your hand and go, fuck you, dude. And then you can't be like, well, I can't hit you. I can't do shit about that. What an awesome shield that would be, right?
Yeah.
If I could just have some shit and you could do whatever you want to me and I can't do anything. Because guys on my side, well, we decided we're not going to do anything back. And so you could just do whatever you want. It sounds pretty fucking nice, right? Sounds kind of cool where you could just have a no consequence clause. Does it sound nice where you could do what you want and nobody hurts you for it?
Right.
Does it sound good?
Yeah.
Would you like that?
No.
I would like that. Yeah. I would like to have that nobody's going to hit me rule. I like that. I would take that one. Yeah. And we gave that to women. Now, there's a generation of women that very much appreciated that. I really enjoy not being hit by my man. Thank you very much. And now we have a generation that has come up thinking the reason guys don't hit girls is because girls are tougher than guys. Oh, so now there's more abuse happening from women now than from men. The difference is because women are hitting guys almost 3 times more than guys are hitting girls. The difference is when a guy hits a girl, it really counts because they can't take the hits back. But women are hitting men way more, and they're responsible for 80% of the divorces. Now, what are we running into where we've got a society where they're emasculating their boys, their sons? Their sons are underprepared for the world and doing emotionally reckless attacks on women because you train them to. And the women who are abusing the system are creating good guys to be broken guys, and they have nowhere to go. Like they do, but they don't know how to find it. They can't find the Warrior's Way, or they can't find your system on Facebook or whatever it is because they're not looking. Men don't look for help until there's crisis. In fact, they don't accept advice until they realize their stuff is all falling apart. We're in a really weird time right now.
I agree, Rick, because you know what? Like I would say 98% of my clients are female.
Yeah.
Are women reaching out actually for help.
Guys don't reach out.
Yeah, they don't reach out. And I really do encourage, to the person that is listening, if you are a man right now listening to this podcast, is to reach out to Rick, reach out to me, hey, whatever you're going through, right? It doesn't mean that you are weak because you're asking for help. No.
It's bullshit.
No. You know what? It means that you are brave, that you are strong, that you want to help yourself.
Well, let's look at it, man. Like, all right, let's look at a scenario. When would you say protect the village is just one dude? Protect the village, protect the people. Is that just Bob's got it, he'll do that? Or is it all the guys together?
It's all the guys together.
Hunt and gather. We're all going to get together. We get some food and bring it back and everybody can eat, right? All the guys together. Build something big, a skyscraper. Is it just you out there going on the crane and then you got to run out there and move the thing and bolt it in and then run back down and get back on the crane? It's just one dude? No, it's a whole crew together, working together. What about like any sports team? Yeah. Is it just one guy?
Yeah, it's
a whole team. We're all better together. When it gets into military at all, you ever seen anybody talk about like, oh man, the Navy SEALs or Delta Force, those guys work together? What a bunch of pussies.
Right. Yeah.
No, they're the baddest dudes on earth. Yeah. You're going to tell me no, that's the toughest guys in the world. Why? You can't mess with that team. Yeah. Together, we're stronger. Why is it different if you're going through shit? The reason why is it goes back to that empathy thing. Women don't care about men's feelings, so then they create a self-fulfilling belief system of nobody cares about my feelings. If the person I love the most doesn't care about my feelings, who will? Right. Thanks, ladies. Yeah, well, what about my safety and my protection? What about me? What about me? What about me? That's why there's a divorce. It's because you never said, well, what about my man? Mm-hmm. You never treated him like your man. Yeah. You treated him like your provider, your paycheck, your security, but never cared once about where's his security come from.
No, I agree. You know what? It's so powerful when you touch on these points because, if women did that, like I have nothing against women or anything, we come from different cultures, different backgrounds, right? Different mindset. We're just being brought up, differently, right? And no one teaches us those things, but that's why we are here, as coaches, to help couples that are in relationships, that are in marriages, and the men and women that unfortunately, their marriage did not work out. We are here to support one another and let you know that we are here for you, that you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to. We are here for you. That's why we, invest so much time and money and effort. We work with other coaches as well. We're investing ourselves, we're developing ourselves to help you guys, because you know what, we've been through it. I experienced it on my own skin, right? And this is my goal, this is my purpose, is to help thousands and thousands of divorced men and women out there, because I want this world to be a better place for all of us, right? So we don't have to struggle, we don't have to suffer, right? I want everyone to be the best version of themselves, to live the best life that they can have, because you can have the best life, right? Because you have to invest in yourself, because if you don't, who will help you? You don't
Nobody.
you don't
They don't
have
know.
the tools, you don't have the knowledge to help yourself. And also to what I want to go back to, when I was going through my journey, where who I have become today and where I am in my life. You know what, not to brag about it, but I want to show and tell everyone what are the possibilities out there, because I work with Les Brown. He's a motivational speaker. Through him,
You work with Les Brown?
I did.
Les Brown's wonderful.
Yeah, I love him. I listen to him almost every single day.
Listen, I've talked to a lot of people with Les Brown. Can you listen to Les Brown and then afterwards you're not inflecting like he does?
Oh my goodness.
I start talking like Les Brown around the house when I listen to Les. Yeah. Like, baby, I've got a question for you. Like I start talking like Les Brown. I don't know if you do that. I can't help it.
Hey, one of the quotes that I really like is, he says, if you fall on your back, because if you can see up, you can get up. Oh,
I like it.
My goodness, it's so powerful. So through him,
I almost wanted you to channel your Les Brown. If you're gonna fall, fall on your back. I want you to listen. I just love that.
Yeah. So through him, through Les Brown, I met a mindset coach that he was a consultant of Bob Proctor. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Where and when I met with the consultant of the coach, the program was very expensive. Mm-hmm. 6-month program was a couple $1,000s, and that's all the savings I had, from what was left over from my marriage. And I was really afraid to invest, because never in my life I invested so much money. I never knew about coaching. This is the first time in my life I ever knew that there are coaches out there that can help you with things. But you know what? I'm like, if I don't do anything, if I don't invest in myself, right? How will things change for me? I'm doing the same thing over and over, but I'm expecting different results. What is that called? That's called insanity, right? So you have to do something differently to have different results. I'm like, you know what? What is the I used to say, what is the worst that can happen to me, right? But one of my coaches told me to ask yourself, what is the best thing that can happen to you? Mm-hmm. So I did that, and I already lost everything. So I'm like, how much more can I lose? So I'm like, you know what? I have it on my vision board. I wrote it down, January 26, 2021. That's when I invested in myself. I said, you know what? That 7.5K, I'm going to turn it into $1 million. I'm going to help orphanages throughout the whole world. I'm going to help homeless shelters. I'm going to build a nonprofit organization for divorced men and women who do not have the finances, for divorce attorney, financial advisors, therapists, whoever they need, who they have coach. So I put all that stuff down. It was 4 years ago, Rick. Mm-hmm. And today, so I became a certified coach, motivational speaker, and a co-author of Amazon #1 book with 20 other men. Never in my life, you know what, if 10, 15 years ago you would ask me that you would be a coach, you would write a book and be speaking on stages, I would tell you you're crazy.
Yeah. People tell me that all the time anyways.
and then you know what, that was the one of many best decisions I have made for myself, because in 6 months that coach, he extracted those gifts, that talents, that potential that I did not even know I have within me. You know what? That story, the mindset, the limiting beliefs, the fear, all this crap, all this nonsense that, you know what, I was living in this small little world.
Mm-hmm.
He just, my goodness, just took me and just showed me the possibilities.
Yeah.
What you can have, who you can become if you use these steps, if you use these tools, right? So I went through this wonderful transformation of rebuilding myself, rediscovering myself, finding my self identity, and having this self confidence. Because back then I was very introvert. I was too shy to even reach out to people to ask for any help. I didn't know who I was, where I was going in my life, what do I want out of my life. Nothing. And it did take time. It's a complete lifestyle change. But you know what, it's such an amazing lifestyle change where, oh my goodness, I am thriving now. Right now I am
Mm-hmm.
thriving in my life. And this is what I teach, coach, help men and women out there, that there are so many possibilities out there, that you are so gifted, that you are so talented, you have it within you. You just gotta connect. And I say that you're one person, one meeting, one networking event away from a person that can transform your life away. And maybe today is your day. You're listening to this podcast, that, you know what, and I say that I am the answer to your prayer, because you needed to hear this podcast, this message, that wow, this is what I went through, this is the help I need.
There's a
And I
place.
believe God, universe, whatever you believe in, they put us in the right place at the right time with the right person.
Mm-hmm. You guys have to make the choice to do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. You have to. If you don't make a choice today, tomorrow, but then, you know what, you will procrastinate. Today's not a good day. Never is a good day. Never is a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it, right? It's you're not gonna know it all, right? It's just like learning how to play a piano, learning how to play a sport. It all takes time, right? You will fail. You learn from failure. No, there's no any millionaires or billionaires that became successful overnight. How many millionaires were homeless, right? That they were sleeping, eating in their car.
Mm-hmm.
They went through this process, through this journey. It's not as easy as everyone thinks, right? If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Well, people quitting the grind all the time. You're going over a lot of stuff real quick. So this is good, because a lot of times people don't know about the one word that you're talking about. Hope. That's what you're talking about. And people have, guys especially, guys, I'm going to hit you with this one. Guys keep thinking that hope is supposed to be given away for free. And if you want to get out of hell, that someone's supposed to go into hell and get you on their own dime. And it's like, no, there's a lot of value in pulling people out of hell. You have to also be able to pay attention. And I wish that it wasn't true. I wish. How much of that program would you have taken so seriously if it was $20?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't, because you didn't invest enough for it to matter. But you were at the point where, if I put this in, I'm all in. And that's the reason why people have to be able to invest. They have to. And anything I've ever done for under 2K, I've seen guys just walk away from.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just putting it out there for you. Anything I've been like, it's under 2K, I got you $1,000, $1,500. Let's just go through the journey. I'm in. It's justifiable to walk away from. It's justifiable. You can go like, I've spent more on less, and you can stop showing up. But you put like 7K down when you didn't have that much money to just lose. And you're like, whoo, I am all in on this. Every word that you say is important. Every challenge you give me, everything that you say needs to be done, I will do. I have put too much in not to do that. And when people think hope is free, that somebody's supposed to come into your hell and dig you out of the kindness of their heart, how much is it truly appreciated when you start seeing people go like, well, what else do you got if you're just giving stuff away for free, instead of every word you say is important to me and I'm in. Let's kick ass together. People who pay attention, and they won't invest in themselves. And there's just a mentality shift that needed to change. I'll tell you right now, I've put over 100K into different certifications, coaching programs, different techniques, learning different skills. You have to put the money in on yourself if you're going to be good at this. And people, like, they think it's supposed to just be like, you're supposed to find a YouTube video. It's supposed to be this podcast. We're telling you the answers, not the solutions. Mm-hmm. There's a place that you can go where there's a brotherhood of men. I am on the men's side. You take women on. Like, I have my women's side, but I'm pushing it over to our own women's group. That's a different thing. But if you're like, I'll take both, there's got to be the place. There has to be a place where guys can go. And I'm circling back to this thing where, like you say, people want to do it alone, man. It's longer when you're alone. Is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. You could do it. But it's longer when you're alone. It's stronger when we're together.
Yeah, I agree, because you know what? Through my journey too, yeah, I did self-help books, I did motivational videos, but that will help you only to a certain extent, to a certain level. But then you need that coach, that mentor, whoever, to take you to the next level.
Correct. The answer is not the solution. I made that video a long time ago. It's on the front of my website. The answers are not the solution. People hear that like, okay, whatever. But once you're in the grind, once you're in the mix, once you actually start doing your journey, then you go, oh, I see. Like, I know the answer, like the Rubik's Cube thing. When I do this thing, like, they're like, I know the answer. I know it's supposed to look like all this. I get it. I got it. But then you got your own and you're like, I got the greens down, but like the rest of my cube is screwed. Like my money's fine, or like, my work is good, but everything else is a mess. It's like, what the heck? Why can't I fix this? Well, I know the answer is all the colors are the same, but mine isn't doing it. I don't really understand. And this is where people have to go like, yeah, you know the answer, but you can't solve it. The answer isn't the solution. The solution gets you to the answer you're looking for. That's just your goal. And that's why together we're stronger. I'm going to go back to, since we're creating brotherhoods. I've got the Warriors Way Mindset Brotherhood. You're building your system where you've got a place where people can connect and grow through loss. When it comes back to that empathy for who really cares about people, I'm going to tell you right now, your brothers care. You're not going to get it from your ex-wife. You're not going to get it from your current wife. Some of you are married right now. Some of you are just engaged. And you're like, she doesn't care about my feelings. She just wants us to be okay. But safety, security is on me. But my feelings don't matter to her. She's here for this is the thing we've talked about over and over again for guys. Men aren't loved for who they are. They're loved for what they can provide.
Spot on. I totally agree. And you know what? Those spaces, those brotherhoods are needed, because there are so many men out there that, they need help, they need support, right? And like I said, you know what? You could be someone right now listening that you went through a divorce and you're dealing with loneliness, right? So,
dude, number one reason for suicide is isolation.
Yeah.
Like even with the Warriors Way, we have a group at night just for hanging. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go into work. You don't have to go into doing some hardcore psychology trial. You're not on mission. You don't have to do anything. Just come and belong. Mm-hmm. Since we started that system, and this is the 9th month since we started that, no suicide calls. Wow. We used to have them every few weeks. There'd be a guy struggling. And since we created You Belong, Come Hang Out, no more calls. Yeah. The guys belong somewhere, and they can go into battle if you need to, but you don't have to be alone anymore unless you choose to be. And I think that's an interesting belief system shift for men, is you're only as alone as you believe you are. Mm-hmm. Because if you know there's a place where guys like, hey, I'll pick up, I'll hang out with you. What's going on, man? I care about what you're saying. Damn, I'm with you with that one. Instead of going like, so what are you going to do about it? Oh, that's it? Well, what about me? Like, those conversations could kill people.
Totally different.
They kill people, and yet justified. Listen, I'm pushing. I've had my women's groups, and my women's groups I just met with them yesterday. The success is so high in these groups, but I put all the accountability back on themselves. I'm like, no. You are a contributing factor to the chaos. In fact, you are probably the highest contributor to the chaos. And you want to know what a big piece for men and women, the difference is when I work with both sides? Women come in blaming. Women come in shaming. What I mean by that is women go, he didn't do this and he's not doing enough of that. And I'm doing everything and he's not doing this and he's not doing that. And the guys come in and going, I'm doing everything that she's asked for and it's not enough. What am I doing wrong? How come I can't make her happy? She used to be happy. Why isn't she anymore? What am I missing here? Guys come in taking it on themselves and women come in pointing the finger. And if you're in here and the first thing you just said when Rick started talking, he's like, oh yeah, well, he doesn't know. Well, what about this? And at what point do I just have to take it? And when if you start doing these rhetorical questions at the beginning, you're the problem. You're why there's a failed relationship. She's like, well, no, these guys are all blah, blah, blah. You're the one who's in these relationships that are failing consistently. Listen, I'm putting it, if ladies want all this equality and responsibility, well, you better own your fucking up. Because there's some good dudes out there that come into me going, dude, I just gave her everything. I paid for the house. I paid for everything. I took care of all of her safety, all of her security, all of her needs. I took care of everything. I even gave her space when she wanted space. And you know what she did? Took everything from me and called the cops. Yeah. That sounds like robbery. When you take something from everybody and then have somebody else enforce that you can't take it back.
Yeah. And I'm glad you bring this up, because everyone needs to hear this message out there, especially because you know what, we're stuck in our own worlds. Like we're stuck in our own minds and in the relationships and marriages, and you see those patterns that, hey, he's not doing this, he's not doing this and that, right? They only have this own perspective, right? That they have their own expectation, right? Women do, men do, right? But if they're both not on the same page, then this is what it leads to. And we got to put this message out there that ladies, say, this is how the men are feeling. This is how they're dealing with it, what they're struggling with, to help the ladies to change, to make different decisions.
Listen, I'm already telling you, there's ladies either getting triggered or turning this off already. You know why? I'm putting it. I challenge my warrior women hard. Women are not good with handling the truth. They just aren't. And if you're hearing this right now and you're like, no, this guy's a chauvinistic and he's just a piece of shit woman hater. No, I train women to be powerful. Mm-hmm. Women don't handle the truth well at all. Denial is at the core of almost every single curse that they have. They just don't know it yet because denial is a protector system. And they wear the masks, they wear the personas, they act like they're a boss babe, but really they're terrified of so many pieces of reality that they can't accept it. And if a guy goes, hey, well, this is truly what I'm going through, instead of going, bro, your heart's important to me, they go, oh, here's what I'm going to do to make it so you can't hurt me. And you're like, no, he's hurting. It's not about you. Yeah, but if he's hurting, then I don't feel safe. And if I don't feel safe, I better make sure the safety's on me then. So I'm going to take all of his provisions and create a safety without him so I'm okay. You're like, well, that leaves him without provision, without safety, without care, without empathy, without love, without any compassion, without anything. Well, I don't give a fuck about him. It's all about me right now. And you go, who's really the evil one in this relationship if he says, I'm just having a really tough time, and then you abandon him, you throw him out to the wolves, you take all his clothes, and then you're wondering, why is he pissed off? You just did something that, if it's the golden rule and it was reversed, this would be monstrous if done to you. Yet, if you combine denial with excuses, you create justification. Well, it's okay if I do it because I can alleviate myself of that sin because I made up a reason. I'll even create I got a protection of order against him. Well, why? He was real. I was scared of what he could do. Did he do something? He could have, though. And if he would have, I don't want that. Well, what did you do to him? I took all of his things. I took his kids away from him. I took all of his money. I took all of the stuff that he has. I took everything he has. And then I smashed his heart on the floor. And then I called the police before he could do anything about it. And you're like, yeah, that's evil as fuck. You know that shit, right? And you're like, no, justified. Justified. Justifiable. This level of karma, ladies, you need to regulate each other and stop saying swipe right and you can just do better, because if you're perpetuating your evil ass fucking friend, you're not a part of the solution team. I'm just putting it out there. This is where I'm at. Listen, oh my God, I get so salty with the ladies. They're like, oh yeah, well, what about when guys do that? Well, those guys don't like us either because I hold them accountable as fuck. But it's 80% are the women pulling this shit right now. The numbers are really staggering. When you give women the wheel, what do they do with it? They kick the dude out and fucking drive off. And you go, that was really bad when it was the other way around. Wouldn't you maybe do it differently if women are supposed to be compassion and nurture and love and kindness and empathy, if they're supposed to be all of these good things, why can't men get that?
Good question. Very good question. But
Smashing on these ladies.
you know what uh, I would say from my experience, helping dealing with other people, and because I've been there, like like everything that you have said have happened to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
I lost it all, materialistic things, family, broken heart, shattered into pieces, just broken to pieces.
Can't get
Where
your clothes.
can't get my clothes, gotta call the cops.
Jeez.
The locks were changed. I seen them on my door camera when my best friend were changing door locks. To my own
So
home.
kind.
And but you know what? Now, with what I know now, Rick, and the amount of work that I have done on myself, I look at it now. I know how the laws of the universe work,
Mm-hmm.
how everything is, right? The beautiful thing is, if people that are going right now through the divorces, that are so nasty to each other, that are emotionally, financially destroying each other, that are causing all this parental alienation, that are brainwashing children against the mother or the father or whoever, there's, you're thinking that you're, destroying your ex-husband or ex-wife. You know what? You are destroying yourself. It's just a matter of time. Everything that you're putting out, it will come back to you and it will take care of you. If you would have that mindset when you're going through a divorce, my goodness, you probably wouldn't done 90% of the things that you're doing right now. And this is the beauty of this universe. When I understood this, and when I speak to people and I listen to them and hear what is coming out of their mouths, right? Or sometimes I don't badmouth my ex or anything. I pray for her every day. We have a good relationship because of our children. You know what? She has an amazing life. I support her because you know what? I'm not gonna, badmouth her in front of my kids. I support her with whatever I can do. But I had to do the work on myself, right? Even though everything was taken away from me, right? I have forgiven. I have not forgotten. I have moved on, right? And you know what? It's just I just right now watch and let everything unfold. God, universe, do its thing. Because you know what? I say that you know what? Hey, God has seen things that you haven't seen. God have heard things that you haven't heard, and He made the move for you that you would probably not make. And so many of us. I'm not here for people to get divorced or anything. Not at all. I want families to be good to each other, to love each other, for their children to have both parents, live under one roof and just work on their marriage, because it's not one-way street, it's a two-way street, right? And it constantly you have to work on it, because if you don't work on your marriage, you work on your divorce. It's as simple as that, right? It's constant work every single day. And yeah, people do get old, people do change, people do walk out, on one another. But you know what? We can do it in a good adult way, not like teenagers. Because I see this. There's just so many thousands of dollars are being wasted on divorce attorneys, just fighting about
Mm-hmm.
stupid shit that doesn't really matter. One of my clients, when their daughter is at the dead house, right? He buys her a Pandora bracelets or whatever it is. So that daughter cannot take the Pandora bracelet or her clothes to her mom's house. She's got to keep it all at his house, or vice versa. Because you know what? My son, you know what? I am the father. So because we have a son, I have to raise them, because, he's got to be raised by a man, not by a mother. It's just, you guys are hurting yourselves. You guys are hurting your children, not your exes, not your
Mm-hmm.
exes. You know what? Because these children are in the middle. They're like a ping pong ball, back and forth, back and forth. Because put yourself living in two different worlds, living at mom's house, living at dad's house, two different environments, two different mindsets. And it's just like your head is just like you're smashing your head against the wall. Because who do I listen to, right? Mom is good, dad is bad, dad is bad, mom is good, vice versa, and so on. We have to create a much better environment where we pour love, compassion, into our children, and show them. Because later on, what happens to that child, to your son, daughter, later on when they go out into the society, when they start dating, when they start getting into marriages, that hey, divorces are okay because my mom and dad went through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have domestic abuse, that there's drugs or alcohol, whatever it is, then you know what, you have to make a decision.
The generational curses are absolute. Like, it happens all the time. There's hope, man. There's hope.
Absolutely,
You're
there's hope.
building it. We're building it. There is hope. People, listen. We can go all day on this topic. Marcin, there's hope. They can get in with you. They can get in. Oh, yeah, there we are. They can get in with you. They can get in with the ability to be able to just be a part of something where you don't have to be alone anymore. Like, now is the time. All right. Oh, there we are. So, all right, warriors. Now we have a place where there's at least hope for you, man. Is it supposed to be free? No, it's not free because you'll quit. It's not free for a reason. I wish it was, because whenever we do it for free, people quit.
Yeah.
You're already broken. You're beat down. I need you on your last leg. Then fine, because then you'll stick around, and if you stick around, you'll start finding your footing, and you'll find people who actually do care about you, and people who will help you up. I feel your big heart, man. I feel that you want to help some people.
That is like I said, that is my goal. That is my mission. That's what I dedicate my life to help men and women both, help our society, diverse society. 3 weeks ago, I went to New York. I spoke at the mental health awareness, and there were many female coaches. I would say there were only 3 men out of
The
100.
majority female coaches.
And you know what, from Australia, United Nations, New Zealand, throughout the whole United States, and really there is no one out there helping our divorced society.
Loss comes in a different way. The support out there is astronomical. Listen, I've gone to a lot of events like that, dude. Like, it's probably 95% women.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. And also, just so you ladies know, I'd be surprised if even 5% of you are actually worth your salt. Because you go there and they don't have the gift. They just want to share their opinions or tell their story, but they don't actually want to be able to see or help another person because it's still on them. Like, there's some good ones out there, but it's rare when you find one who's like, she actually has the gift to do this. And like, it's rare. And so, like, this, it's an interesting world right now where people are destroying the industry. They're destroying it because there are good ones. I actually think it's great. I'll be real with you. I think the cream will rise to the top. I think it's gonna, like, you're gonna start seeing which ones are legit and which ones got into it because they were trying to just make a quick buck from home and wanted to share their opinion and don't actually have the gift for this. And those who are listening, I've talked to both. The ones who know, they know. They're like, nope. Most of them don't have the gift. They just want to be a part of something, or they wanted to have their own opinion out there, but they're not actually able to do the skill.
Yeah, it really takes a lot, a lot of
It's hard.
time, dedication, sacrifice, going through failures, because it's not rainbows and sunshine every single day.
Mm-hmm.
It takes money, to invest. But I see that our society is awakening. They're awakening more and more. And when people do wake up, they actually realize that, hey, there is help, there is support out there. And you know what, it's we need our audience, people that are listening right now, to spread the message, spread the word that, hey, Rick, Marcin, hey, this is what these guys are doing, right? These are two studs that are helping, especially Rick with all the mans, creating such an amazing community, warriors mindset, right? This is what we want. We want to build men that are warriors, that have that masculinity, right? That have that power, that have that strength, that at the same time they are gentlemen as well.
Oh, you're damn right, dude. Listen, being an alpha doesn't mean you're a nutcase.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I feel like we said it. I think we did it, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like we did it. You feel good?
Absolutely. I feel amazing. You know what? It's just like I did not know what to expect, but I am really grateful to you, Rick, for such an amazing work that you do. It's just I am so happy because actually I met you through a person that I met through Facebook in California, and I did not know that you're here in the city in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's just like so wonderful, because I love to connect with other like-minded individuals, like I said, that are very passionate about the work that you do, and then you pour your heart, pour your soul out there to the man, right? That you are there for them in their toughest times. That, you know what, you reach out to them, you are the helping hand. That, you know what, hey brother, I got you. You don't have to do this alone, man. Join our brotherhood.
You see it.
Mm.
Yeah. And honor to you too for building it too. You're helping out people who are in their darkest times.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. And you know what? I love it. I love helping people because I believe through this whole transformation. Now, when I reflect, when I look back where I'm at right now, you know, how I have rebuilt myself, how I have rediscovered myself, I found my purpose, my mission on this earth. Because one day when I'm going to be laying in my deathbed, you know what? I'm going to go out with a smile.
Yeah.
That I have made a difference. I have impacted thousands, you know, of men's life. That, you know what? I had extracted those gifts, those talents from within them that they did not even know that they had within.
We give them hope again.
Give him hope. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. Awesome, brother. Well, thank you so much for everything. My dude, Marcin, get in touch, reach out, find out. We'll have the links and everything in this bio. So click on some shit and just book a call. Come hang out with us. And thank you, Warriors. I hope you guys crush it today.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Take care.